I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, and there's another paid request, this time from Joseph. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any other type of videos or topics or reactions or reviews or pretty much anything random or out of the blue or what have you can feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the film 1917. And this is a film I've heard quite a bit about. But I didn't watch it yet, just wanted a little bit of the hype to die down. And I watched it. I really enjoyed it. I did quite like it. It's a pretty simple story. Two British soldiers in 1917, of course. They wake up, they have some banter. Where they're at, the phone lines have been cut, and they have this mission where they're supposed to get from point A to point B to call off an attack. Otherwise, this group of 1,600 men are going to walk into an ambush, and it'll be a massacre. So then it's a journey of these two guys going across enemy lines to get to their destination. And the gimmick of this is all done to look like it's all in one take. Of course, they didn't shoot it all in one take. There's edits. But I gotta say, a huge credit to the editor, as well as the director, Sam Mendes. But the editor, many times I could not tell how they edited like the cuts. I could maybe make a guess here or a guess there, but they did a fairly convincing job in showcasing as if this was all done in one take. Again, there are some you recognize, like at one point a character gets knocked out, it's black. Okay, that's a cut. But still, I thought it was a really cool gimmick to make it all seem like done in one take. So you get these nice sweeping shots with the camera going through these narrow trenches as it seems to get more narrow, and then going to these tunnels. And there's another scene where they're going through these tunnels and it's caving in, and you feel the claustrophobic aspect of it. Or some really beautiful looking shots of cinematography where there's a point where one of our characters is in the set of ruins, and the lights is just from flares shooting up, and maybe there's a soldier here or a soldier there, and he has to run for his life as if Forrest Gump, save me now, don't let me down, Forrest, run, Forrest, run, motherfucker, run. Or other sweeping shots where he's got to get where the whole firing line is at and take the risk and run. And as he's running, you just see men upon men upon men just running behind and in front of him, and explosions happen as he's running for his life. Again, I did think you felt a nice scope, and like I said, the whole gimmick is big props to the editing of the film. Again, to try to make it all look like it's done in real time. Definitely a challenge. I commend the actors, the director, the editor for making all that happen. Now, I would say, and I would have liked a bit more action, but I mean, I'm an action. It's not an action if it was a war film, but I guess I would have liked a bit more action, maybe a bit more firefights, a bit more intense scenes where he's got to fire and shoot this person, shoot that person, and I was expecting or hoping for like a big firefight where this is all being done in one take. Shoot this person, go over here, avoid, shoot this person. There's little skirmishes that do that, but I guess I was waiting for that big epic moment where he's got to sweep around and shoot this, and he's running out of bullets, and he shoot this. Oh, he misses. He hits this guy. Sadly, either that or maybe a scene with a tank where, oh shit, there's a tank, and maybe he's got to get a grenade, and he's got to put it under the tank and make it explode. I think a bit more action sprinkled in would have been... I would have liked it a bit more. I'm doing this thing on Letterboxd where you rate movies on stars, and I'm bad at it because it's hard for me to be consistent, and I'm actually working on it. Out of 5 stars, I'd probably give it, I don't know, 3.5. I really did like it. Why don't you give it more? On a side note, because 5 stars is movies that are like favorite movies of all time. 4.5 stars are kind of close to favorite movies of all time. 4 stars is, oh, I enjoyed it enough. I probably want to put him in my DVD Blu-ray collection. This, again, I liked it. I don't know if I'll watch it a lot, but it was a nice experience at least one time. Again, it's not a flaw with the film, but just my only thing I would have liked is to see a bit more action. I didn't either a bit more firefights or a scene involving a tank but there's some pretty decent moments. I mean, there's a moment where the two characters are seeing this airplane dogfight in the distance, and then it sweeps around, and like, oh shit, it gets so fast. Like, moments like that are pretty well staged. And there's just good ratings on IMDb, but I know there's some people that didn't like it because they found the film boring. Granted, again, I would like a little bit more action, but I never thought it was boring. No, I never thought it was boring. I guess I just... for me, I would have made it even more of a crazier, bigger set pieces. And no, I don't know how it was back in 1917. Would they just send 2 guys on foot to get this message if it's going to save 1,600 people? Seems fairly important. Would they only send 2 guys on foot? And that does make me question, like, why didn't they try to send someone on a plane? Because throughout the film, there are various moments where someone is in a plane. And, oh, that's our man, and it's a 2-on-1, and that's one of our guys. And throughout the film, you do get a lot of plane... Not a lot, but you do see planes in the distance. So, again, someone who's much more a connoisseur of World War I, would they send someone on a plane as well? Or would they send more than 2 people? Like, would they say, like, a battalion? Like 4 or 5? Again, I don't know. I guess you could say, well, they sent 2 because it makes it easier to hide with 2 of them. But if you're a unit that you're supposed to be trained, know what you're doing, 5 or 6 seem to be more suffice. So in case 1 or 2 people die, there's still people to pick up the pace. But I get why they did 2 for more dramatic reasons. Because, well, not getting the spoilers. So, but I get why I get why Sam Mendes did it dramatic-wise. So, honestly, I prefer how Sam Mendes did it. I'm just saying that maybe people will be like, what the fuck? And I don't know why this is slowing down. I have nothing else going on, computer. I have nothing else running. You don't have to slow down the webcam. So if it's screwed up, I was saying, I understand why there's only 2 people. Because it does make it a bit more dramatic. Just spoiler alert, spoilers. Spoilers. Ultimately with these 2, one dies, and then one has to do it on his own. And that's what I mean by making it more dramatic, is that to have a guy by himself stuck behind enemy lines and go through all these hoops to get to his destination. Again, that makes it more dramatic. But I guess in essence, you could have a group of people and the others die on the way, and you could still end up with one person by themselves. I guess technically you could still end up on that fashion, so I guess you could have like 5 or 6 people, and maybe that would make a bit more sense than just 2. And people who are much more knowledgeable on World War One, you let me know on that. But it was one of those scenes, for the most part, I was just, yeah, there's not really deep in the characters. Really all you get to know is one has a family back home, the other, he's adamant on this mission, because one of the 1600 men is his brother. That's really all you get to know about the characters. But the actors, they're fine. I think they do acceptable, fine jobs in the lead roles. And really, this is a movie that I was fairly impressed on a technical and visual level. I think it was just fascinating to see like how they going to do this, how they going to do that, make it all look like in real time. And I thought it really did a nice job establishing an atmosphere of what it possibly was at the time, that's behind enemy lines, and when they're walking through these old battlefields, and you just see the death and destruction, like they're walking past all these dead horses, or they have to jump into this muddy pit, and they turn, there's a dead body literally in the side of the mud, like within the mud of the pit. It's like, it does bring a nice ghastly atmosphere to the war proceedings. And there's some recognizable actors in there. Mark Strong makes an appearance. I liked him as an actor. He was in the Kingsman movies. He was in Green Lantern. Also, Benedict Cumberbatch makes an appearance in the third act. Doctor Strange himself. So, they don't have big roles, but it was nice to see him in there, and they did a nice job for what little they had to work with. And again, this did more into spoilers, so beware spoilers. They go through beyond enemy lines. It does have that feeling of you could get killed at any moment. So I think it does a fairly good job capturing what perhaps that would have felt like back then, as you're low on the ground and you're going through here, and maybe this will be your end, maybe that'll be your end. And you do really feel like you're the third person in this group. I mean, in a way, it's kind of like a good way of, like, we have this whole thing with found footage, but there are other ways you do it so you're not limited, either through a person's eyes, like Hardcore Henry, or even like this, where the camera is like with the group, with these 2 guys, so you do feel like you're the third person, you're with them in the trenches. And they're going through places, and they're getting in cave-ins, and they're going across fields, and they see this dogfight from afar, and how it gets up close and personal for them. I thought that was kind of nice and surprising. I didn't expect that. I went, oh shit. And like I said, I thought the acting was fine when the guy who has a family back home, he sees the guy who's looking for his brother, he gets killed. Because he tries to do the right thing, but then the bad guy stabs him. So he dies from blood loss. I thought they did a nice job capturing the other guy, because he finds Mark Strong and his group of people, and he gets in the back of a truck. And just the way the guy's face, where he's trying to hold it in, he's trying to deal with it. They did a nice job showcasing that he's not going to just forget it in 5 seconds, but he's not wailing. Ah! It's in between, and I thought that made it more effective. Where you feel the loss of his friend, but it's just him emotionally dealing with it, concealing it. I thought that was a fairly effective piece of the actor did within the movie. And there's a point where he gets to a broken bridge, he's got to cross it. Granted, the guy who shoots at him is one of the worst shots ever, because the guy has a clear open shot multiple times and keeps fucking missing. And it's one of those things that luck does come into play. Like, there's a point where he kicks down a door, and the bad guy shoots him, but I guess shot him in the head, but the bullet was stopped by the helmet. It's like, with all the places to shoot him, almost did the Call of Duty, a shot him in the head, in the helmet, shit. But it's okay, I forgive it, because, again, there's a lot of aspects done fairly well. The score fits the movie fairly well. I said some beautiful looking shots. Like when he gets knocked out, he wakes up, the place, like there's a point he's going through the ruins, and he gets to a point where this big building's on fire, and he's just staring at it. And the way that's shot, the way the camera is staged and composition of that, great to just marvel and look at on a visual, technical level. So this movie's easy to enjoy just on a technical level. And the story is simple and straightforward enough. It doesn't get bogged down with subplots. It doesn't get bogged down with, oh, we got this and this and this. Like I said, one of my only issues is I wish it had a bit more action. Either dealing with tanks or a bit more gunfire sequences. But yeah, the movie itself, fairly well done. I didn't think it was boring like some people did. You read some comments on IMDb, they said the film was very stupid. I don't know, I, for the most part, bought into it, for better or less. Yeah, overall, yeah, that was a decent flick. More than a decent, I thought it was a pretty solid flick. So, again, wish it a bit more action, and like the two leads did fine, but again, there's really nothing that say, oh, they really captured my attention, the characters. Though the fact that I really, if I ever rewatch it again, it would just to watch the technical aspect, not the characters. I think that also bumps it a notch or two down. Again, the characters are fine, and they work fine, the actors are fine, but I'm just saying, the characters are not really anything that, oh, I haven't talked much about them as characters. There's really not much to them as characters. Like I said, they're not bad at all. It's just, again, there's nothing really, there's no strong characterization-wise that makes me, because a lot of times I do rewatch a film because, hey, I really like that character, or I really want to see that person again. These are like, they're fine to move the plot along, and the technical aspects along. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.